Hello and welcome to another episode of Espresso with Aaron and Sareed. And today we're going to be talking about nutrition hacks to what?
To avoid chronic disease. So today is going to be all about your health. So as we get started, cheers
Do you know what this is?
to your health.
I'm going to give you a
let
guess.
me guess.
No, don't guess. I want you to guess what this is. It looks like lemonade.
It looks like you're drinking
I need you to guess what this is. It's actually very important for today's topic.
lemon water. It looks like lemon water.
Okay,
Wait,
good.
no,
Smell
it's
it, do
not.
whatever you want.
I see the froth. I know what it is. So what do you guys think this is?
Before I actually reveal it to you, let me drink because you might be grossed out after I reveal it to you, and I don't want you to witness it. So let me just finish this real quick. So yeah, keep them occupied.
Beautiful.
And I'll tell you why the heck I'm drinking what I'm drinking.
So one of the things that we normally hear a lot of times from you guys is Aaron and Sari, like nutrition is my biggest problem. So for those of you guys who are actually here with us live, if you know that nutrition is a problem of yours, go ahead and drop it in the chat, because nutrition, in today's day and age, we live in the information era. And while there's like all of this like information around us, I believe that now more than ever, more people are actually confused about whatever they're doing, because there is an oversaturation of do this, do that, do this, do that, right? And because some people are doing this thing over here, other people are doing this thing over here, and by the end of the day, what happens to most people is that they go from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And the reality is that when it comes to your body and when it comes to your health, so today's a health discussion. When you want to improve your health, this is a game of consistency, because when you want to improve your health, your body needs to learn to trust you. And if you're not being consistent with your body, with what you put in your body and the quality of what you put in your body, darling, you can lie to yourself all day long, but you cannot lie to your body. That's just the reality of it. So the point of today's conversation is how to simplify the tactics around nutrition so that you will be able to lead with consistency. Because a lot of times people ask us, Aaron and Sari, like, what are your thoughts about keto? Or like, what are your thoughts about intermittent fasting? And here's my first response back is, well, do you see yourself being able to do it 5 years from now? Because tactic for tactic, number one, we need to have a reasoning for what we're doing it. Number two is this is a game of sustainability. If you're able to like take any notes today, then write this down. This is a game of sustainability. Because especially this time of year, it's really easy to let our egos get in the way of, oh yeah, new year, new me, because everyone right now is in this hype. But before you know it, less than 3 weeks from now, most people who have their New Year's resolution are going to drop off. Not in this house. If you know that this is not going to be you, go ahead and drop not me in the chat. Not this year. So I say this to you because the first commitment that you need to make is with yourself. You can try to blow smoke screens up your ego all day. By the end of the day, you got to be real with yourself, because you can try to lie to your body, but you're not going to get away with it. You can lie to you. I know I lied to myself before. So the point of today's conversation is, if you know that you want to get in better shape, if you know that you want to enhance your health span along with your lifespan, then what are the simple nutritional things that I get to follow through with? Yes.
Okay. So as we go through these, something that I want you to know is, we have these topics. If you hang out through these videos, you're going to get all of the answers to the topics and some, because we don't know how to stop talking. So we go on tangents, and they usually become very valuable tangents. Put valuable in the comments if you have ever gotten anything valuable outside of what the topic was supposed to be. Okay, because our minds start going, and if we think something's valuable for you, whether it has to do with nutrition, has to do with fitness, has to do with your lifestyle habits and behaviors to get an amazing body and whatever else, if there's anything else in addition to that we've learned, that we've failed at, that we've helped our clients overcome, then we're going to share that with you. Okay, so now to come full circle, by the way, I feel like I opened up a loop and I didn't close it. What I was drinking, several of you got it right. It's liquid egg whites. Okay. You know, the egg whites that come in the carton. Here's the deal. Okay. Here's a bonus nutrition tip to avoid chronic disease. Make sure you get at least a gram of protein per pound of body weight per day. 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight per day. So I don't know what I weigh right now, somewhere between 135 and 140, which is very light for me. And I don't like it because I think I lost a little bit of muscle. That's also why I'm very focused on protein, because I've been slacking. And the more muscle we have, the higher metabolism we have, the more calories we burn, the better we metabolize food and things like that. So I am just straight up drinking. That was probably like 30 grams of protein. I was like, I just got to get it in however I got to get it in. You know what I mean? And I just finished working out, and then I showered, and now we have this video. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to make food and just like eat it and have crap in my teeth. No, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Okay. So yes, liquid egg whites and 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight per day.
That's a good tip.
Okay. So that is literally, so what? I got to eat 140 grams of protein a day. That's a lot. If you're just right. So, okay, if I can drink it, I'm gonna drink it. And I also, because I had my genetic test done, realized, and I think I was farty last night because of the B12 in the protein, that my body does not methylate. Is that what it's called?
Does lamb have B12?
It was it's the X endurance protein, which is really a great protein. I just genetically, there's a version of a vitamin in there that my body does not methylate. I don't even know what methylate means, but my body doesn't do it. So anyways, I think that the liquid egg whites are just better. Okay. So anyways, on to nutrient. Talk about farting, talk about drinking liquid egg whites. What else you guys want to know? Okay.
So on the topic of 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So the first thing that is really important to understand is you want to keep it as simple as possible. And that's why in our community with our clients, the success rate is like so high. If you know that your life has been transformed by the teachings, go ahead and drop a transformed in the chat, and feel free to brag about yourself for a minute. Share with us how much weight have you lost, like what have you gained in the process, all of that. So one of the things that we stand by is that we actually don't believe in counting calories. We don't believe in counting macros. We kind of talked a little bit about it yesterday. Yes, there is a rhyme and a reason for everything. And while it's important to have some kind of general understanding of it, and if you ever jump into any of our coaching programs, we'll definitely give you a general understanding of it. However, from an application standpoint, it actually keeps you in a box, and it takes away from you focusing on the big picture. So something that we follow is hand size measurements. And the reason why we love to use hand size measurements with regards to all things nutrition is because it is sustainable. It doesn't matter whether you're traveling on vacation to Mexico, whether you're going on a day, doesn't matter whether you are just eating dinner at home or whatever it may be, your hand goes around with you everywhere. So like, for example,
and God bless it, good things.
So in the context of protein, Erin just said 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So let's say Erin right now is 135. So you can try to like mishmash, like, oh, 130 grams, 135 grams of protein. What is that like? Is that like 1 cup of this, like 5 cups of this? And before you know it, like you have an entire kitchen cupboard that's like all over the place. And you just turned your nutrition into a science project.
Yeah, can I give like a real quick hack that I do in how I count? I count my grams of stuff, but I count it so simple. And this is the way, the hand size measurements is the way.
Right.
But if you think about different food products, right? Not food products. There's food and there's edible products. Edible products are the processed foods that are not really food.
Yeah.
Let's take the egg whites. I know that's it. All that's in there is protein. It is so easy for me to track.
Mm-hmm.
It's only protein. There are no carbs in it. There's no fat in it. Most of our foods has a combination of things, especially if it comes from the earth. You know, animal proteins, grains, dairy, all these sources of protein, they have other things in them, usually fats, carbs, whatnot. So a good rule of thumb that I use is if it is primarily protein, who gives a shit about the rest of the little things in there unless there's a significant amount of it? Take salmon, for example. Salmon has a higher amount of fat than like a white fish. Okay. So if I'm eating a white fish, or if I'm eating some kind of shrimp, or if I'm eating, and there's like a little bit of carbs or something in it, I'm not counting it. It's trace amounts. It is not enough. 1 gram of something, 2 grams of something is not going to make or break you unless you're doing it 100 times a day. Right? Unless it's like what we talked about yesterday.
Or unless you're
just one.
Yeah, or unless you're on the last 2 weeks of like prepping for a figure competition. And let's be honest, like that's not a lifestyle related goal. And if you're watching this, then that's probably one of your goals, because we do not prep people for a figure show.
Probably not one of your goals.
We prep you for life. So you look jacked and tan 365 days of the year, because that's what we believe in. When you one of the things that you say is, when you stay ready, you never have to get ready. And that's what we believe in. Like, how do you create a lifestyle that allows you to, doesn't matter whether you're about to
get
married, give a presentation, like speak to a whole bunch of people,
go to reunion.
You are ready. And that's why you're feeling confident, because it's not this like stop and go type of lifestyle of lackadaisy, and then I'm sprinting and I'm totally stressed out.
Right? Like, oh my God, I have a trip coming up in Hawaii and it's happening in a month. So I have to lose like 20 pounds. So I feel good. If you stay ready, you never have to get ready.
So keep it simple by utilizing your hands. So of course, when it comes to your food, you have your 3 main macronutrients, and then you have your micronutrients, which is basically vegetables. By the way, I would love to know from you guys, this is a quick survey, if you would like to, if there was an opportunity for you to take a deeper dive with regards to nutrition and how to be able to plan out your nutrition so that you know all the concepts step by step of how we do it to people, go ahead and drop deep dive in the chat. I would love to know that.
Put a deep dive. Seriously, this year, I want to just for 1 second, we are, just to let you guys in on what we want to do and what we want to create for you this year, so that you can have the most amount of success, so that you can feel the healthiest you feel, so that you can feel confident in your body, so that you can put on an outfit and not have to change it 13 times to feel good about what you're wearing, so that you can know that when you walk into a room or you go to a social gathering or something, you're not concerned about what everybody's thinking about where this roll shows here or that or whatever, and you're fully confident in who you are and how you show up. We want to know exactly what we get to bring you this year so that you can do that, right? So we're not here. We know these things for us. this is not what we need help with anymore, but this is what we're good at. This is what we know. This is how we can serve you. And this is what you show up to us for, except for also the fact that I'm really funny. So besides that, please let us know what you need, what is holding you back. Where are you at now? Where do you want to go? This is what I would challenge you to do today. Everybody do this today. Okay. You're going to write down, where am I? Where do I want to go? Okay. So maybe you're 180, 190 pounds, 200 pounds, and you want to be 135, like the ultimate goal, right? Get the big one, the ultimate goal. What is in the gap? And I'm not talking about 40 pounds or whatever. I'm talking about what is in the gap. What has prevented you, not outside of you. It's not the weather. It's not your stepmom. It's not your mother-in-law. It's not your kids. It's not your dog. What is in the gap that is inside you? Is it discipline? Is it excuses? Is it victim? Is it, I don't know what to do? Is it not investing the time? Is it a lack of commitment?
Let's do this. Let's do this to make it simple for you guys. We will make it a point to drop a Facebook post about it today so you can comment it out, because we're already giving you guys a lot of, like, we call them prompts, like action steps. And I'm like, we're only in point number 1. So like, how far are we gonna, how many actions?
You guys, by the way, how freaking, this is my Jedi. This is my new Jedi robe, and I think it's the most fun in the whole world.
Okay.
But it's really hot.
Okay, so thank you. We're seeing your guys' deep dives. And by the way, some of your guys' transformations are unreal. So keep up the great work. And 2024 is going to be a whole lot sweeter. Promise you that. So 3 main groups of macronutrients. There's actually 4, but one of them is not even relevant for right now. So 3, and then micronutrients. And so basically, like, the 3 general concepts are protein, fats, and carbs, right? And then when it comes to the fats and carbs, I feel like there is also like a lot of belief systems that maybe some of you guys need to unhook yourself from. And if we ever decide to do a nutritional deep dive, I'm sure we're going to talk about that. And that's why your feedback and your active listening is necessary. So with regards to, okay, Erin and Sarit, like, what am I going to do? Am I just going to start using my hands for everything? And the answer is maybe, but not really. What we love about it is that instead of turning nutrition into a science project and you feel like it's going to take you 5 hours to figure something out, or God forbid, you're going to be off by a little bit and, oh my God, is it going to make me gain weight? Or belief systems like, is it good? Is it bad? Like, again, that's for another conversation. So your protein is basically equivalent. A serving of protein is equivalent to about a palm size. So like Erin earlier talked about salmon being a source of protein, which it is. So you're like, okay, well, what would a serving of salmon be? Basically about the size of your palm. Whether it's a little bit less or a little bit more, like this is ish. And that's the beauty of it.
We should make an ish theory, or like an ish method. This is the ish method. It's so much more gooder.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah. So
I want to know how many of them have actually like counted to the T, like to the gram of the macros, and you've like written it down.
Or to the calorie.
Yeah.
To the calorie.
To the calorie.
1500. I mean, I'm
not talking about a round up or down 50 calories, like to the gram, to the calorie. How many? Put calorie in the comments if you have actually like fully measured and like drove yourself insane.
Yeah.
Trying to get the exact amount.
I know that I did. And then I got obsessed with the elimination game. And that
I did it every day for 4 months straight, and it made myself cuckoo.
Okay, so let's do this thing where I finish this point.
And I shut my mouth. Why are you taking my pens here?
So the palm of your hand is a serving of protein-ish size. Okay, so that can be, for example, chicken breast, that can be salmon, that can be, you're probably going to be like, okay, what about eggs? So imagine how many eggs can you fit in on your hand, and don't break them. By the way, do we have any vegetarians or vegans in the house? So for you vegetarians or vegans, it could be like your tempeh or peas and beans. We should probably do a deep dive, because there is like another loophole that we can get into with what does it look like for vegans and vegetarians. So if you are, drop it in the chat. So that does it for proteins. For fats, it's about a thumb size. So now check this out. Fats have more than double the amount of energy as far as energy goes for a source of energy versus protein and carbs. And that's why when it comes to fats, of course, like it can add up super fast. So again, ish size, you want to be honest with yourself. Okay, so like what are some examples of a serving of fat? That can be like oils. Now, when it comes to oils, not oils are created equal. That can be like nuts, that can be seeds. And of course, when you're eating nuts or seeds, not all of them are created equal. Many of them also have like a really high level of processing. So that's a completely different conversation. So that does it as far as fats go. And then for carbs, it's a handful, right? So it's like if you were to like be, how do you call these? For those of you guys who've ever seen like whenever like construction companies build this like crane, there you go, like this massive skyscraper, and then you see this like massive thing of cement just like going up into like 300 feet into space. So if your hand is a crane, like what could you fit in that hand? So like examples of carbs can be like fruits, for example, or like grains. So like whatever your crane grabs, that is basically the amount of serving of carbs that you want to have. Okay, so
why are you tapping me?
Because I want to see my next point.
She needs to see her next point.
I want to.
I'm taking notes so I can know what to give them.
Yes. So that does it for point number one. Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
We don't know what we're talking about. We got notes.
Listen, we can go on so many tangents. I can give you 30 points.
It's very true.
So I want to
keep
myself disciplined in this manner.
Okay, so next one. That was one, which is keep it simple, use hand size measurements. Okay, got it.
Okay, so I would love to know from you guys. Go ahead and drop diet in the chat if you have ever been on a diet. And next to diet,
survey
actually,
says 100% of everybody.
And next to diet, I want you to drop an emoji that would describe how dieting, just the thought about going on a diet, makes you feel. So
probably like my liquid egg whites made some people feel.
Yeah. So what a diet actually means is a diet is a way of life. And that's why we are basically like the anti-diet people, because we do not believe in diets, and we do help you to form a diet, and it's called a lifestyle. So the anti-diet diet. And prior to finding the right path, I've actually, Erin's story is a bit different, and she had her fair share too. I've had 11 years of trials and tribulations, jumping from one diet to the next. Wow, you guys got like lots of crying faces, pukey faces. So why does it give you a crying face or a pukey face? So I'll tell you, when I used to put myself on diets, and okay, like what are some of the I'll tell you the most ridiculous diet I've ever been on. So by the way, I was born and raised in Israel, in the case that you don't know this. So, in Europe and in the Middle East, like pastries are like a huge thing. It's like a part of the culture.
Pastries are life.
Like if you ever talk to my mom, and like she really likes you, she will invite you for coffee
at 5 p.m.
Yes. She's like, you want to come for coffee? So like like coffee is a way of life for us. And when we drink coffee, where I come from, we normally have a pastry with it. So that can be like a cookie, that can be a croissant, like anything along these lines. So I say all of this because since pastries are such a staple in that side of the world, like cake is not just a dessert. Like cake is like
Staple.
it's like, oh, like you want to come, I go to my grandma's house. She's like, I got cake made. You want to have cake with your coffee? So like here in the United States, we've got donuts.
I remember when we were there, your grandma had a whole container and I just wanted to see what it was.
Uh-huh.
Mistake.
Yeah, it's like a 3
She's like, oh yes, you won some. Take some. Because they're also like, that's how they show love. That's how they get. Anyways, they were like, it's for coffee. I remember. They were like little bread bagel like things that your grandma baked.
Yeah. Yeah. So some of them were salty, some of them were sweet. Anyways, so
take some. She gave me like 3.
Yeah, because it is such a way of life. I remember, like, I went on my first diet when I decided to just put myself on a diet. I signed myself up for it. I knew nothing about it. And of course, it led to 11 years of trials and tribulations. And the most ridiculous diet I've ever been on is called the chocolate cake diet.
That's not even a real thing. Did you actually think it was a thing?
What do you mean? Yes, it was
like it was promoted to you, like the chocolate cake.
Yes,
diet?
it was in a health magazine, you guys.
Stop.
And I printed it out. It's like, how they say, okay, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. So I printed out that page from the health magazine and I stumped it on the fridge. I made sure that my mom had chocolate cake in the fridge so that I could eat it for breakfast.
These people are our enemies. We do not like them.
So come day 4, I'm like, that chocolate cake was amazing. If you know anything about me, I love chocolate. It was like a 3-layered chocolate cake. And like on top of it, there was like a ground up, like real chocolate, real good stuff.
Like I can understand, where there's like cabbage soup diet and the juice.
I did that one too. I did that too. Yeah. But chocolate again, cake. The most ridiculous one. So I'd love to know from you guys, like, what is the most ridiculous diet you've ever done? I'm just sharing with you, like,
this is fun.
Like funny stories, because we've all been there. And come day 4, I saw that I'm like up 2 kilos, because on that side of the world, we use kilos, not pounds. I'm like, this is,
I don't believe.
So then I'm like, okay, well, obviously this thing is not working.
I must eat more cake.
And sometimes when that like an article says Dr. So-and-so, or it's on a health magazine, you just choose to believe it. I'm like, wow, like I know I love chocolate, like blah, 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 blah. So now here's something that I want you to know. If you love chocolate, there is actually a way to keep the things that you love in your life without completely giving it up. And actually,
lemonade diet. We got the juice diet. We got the rice diet. I remember
Slim Fast.
And I drank Slim Fast when I was like freaking 13
good.
years old. Why? Because my mom had them. And I was like, oh yeah, I want to be healthy and I want to be. I don't know what I wanted. I just knew like, oh, if you don't want to be
tuna diet. Wow.
Hey, well, at least that makes sense. I think most people understand like, oh, tuna's protein and it's fish and it's, good for you. And
so all of these diets left us all, like a common consensus is pukey, sad.
I'm going to make a diet. It's called the Ish diet.
I love it. So good. So one of the reasons why, actually, I'd love to know from you guys, why did you drop a pukey face or a sad face? I know question. That the main experiences that I've had when I dieted were, number 1, I felt extremely hungry all the time. Number 2, I felt like I had to eat really little. About a month ago, we were at a retreat with one of our mentors. And, like when we were there, we would eat basically like food in front of her. And
can I pause you for 1 second? Yeah. I know this is against the rules that you just made. Whenever Sarit says when we were at an event, does anybody else besides me start trying to guess which event based on like social media posts and things that you've seen? I start trying to guess, oh, which one is it? Who is it? What was the occasion? Okay, anyways.
So
we eat in front of her. Okay.
So she's like almost like 70 years old.
I know,
And
okay.
she's like, gosh, for like such a tiny body, how can you fit so much in there? So, you know, I love to feel full after a meal. If I'm not full, I'm like, what do we just do here?
I also just like to eat. I love the activity of eating.
Yes.
It is fun.
So some of the things that you guys are saying, depriving, didn't last, not sustainable, unrealistic expectations. Okay. And like, what did that lead to? No freedom. Okay. So restriction.
Who ended up gaining weight on the diet they did?
Mentally hungry all the time. Restrictive. Okay. So the main thing that I'm hearing you say is you felt restrictive. You felt like you couldn't keep up with it and you were hungry. So the second thing that I want you to know is that if you are looking to actually enhance your health and your lifestyle, you got to be full. Because here's the thing, you guys, as primal creatures that have developed over literally millions of years, like our three basic needs, if all falls apart, the three
sex, drugs, and rock and roll,
the three things that it is in our genetic code, our purpose is to nourish, to find shelter, and to procreate,
reproduce.
Okay, so like
sex, I told you.
So let's say like if your life completely breaks down and you're stripped of all things, by the end of the day, you'll want to have sex, you'll want to eat, and you'll want to make sure that you have
sex, drugs.
You'll want to, be under a roof or in a cave or somewhere like that. Okay, so feeding is one of our basic needs. And I say this because when you are constantly feeding hungry, your brain is going to think consciously and subconsciously about one thing and one thing only. And that is, what am I going to eat next? So please go.
Yeah, say it.
Yes, we're going the same way. So for anyone who dieted before, how obsessed were you with eating your next meal when you just ate? If this was
I want to say this in another way. How many of you think about what you're going to eat next when you're eating, like you think about dinner while you're eating lunch?
When they're on a diet or just in general?
Anytime.
So drop obsessed if you're like, when I'm eating this meal and I'm looking at this plate and basically all I see is a leaf of lettuce and one small pea, like I'm already thinking about what I'm going to have next. Whether you like it or not, your brain will go there because you are designed to go there. Okay.
Obsessed.
Yeah. So you want to make sure that you're keeping yourself full, because otherwise your brain is going to find a way to sabotage your efforts at some point. So what is a great way to keep you full without eating a jar of peanut butter or without eating a loaf of bread? Or without eating an entire, like my grandma's like round 3-layered chocolate cake? Make sure that you make veggies a priority in every meal, because veggies are filling. It's that simple.
How much time do you guys think that you spent? Let's say, let's make it simple and say per day. Like go back to when you were counting calories, when you were tracking your macros and, obsessing about the numbers. Okay. Go back to that point. How much time would you estimate that you spent per day just like either calculating or writing down or entering into an app, the numbers or the food items or how much estimate, and put it in the comments. Please, 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 please let us know, because this, for people who say, I don't have time, it's because we spend our time doing things like this. And I did too. So this is not to shame anybody, but we spend our time doing these things because that's the only thing we know, or that's what we were taught, or that's how we had success in the past. So that's what we go back to. And then we do these things and it's like, well, I don't have time to work out and I don't have time to meal prep. Well, stop spending however much time you're about to put in the comments. Stop spending. If you don't have to spend that amount of time doing things, and we can show you efficient way to meal prep, and we can show you efficient ways to get your workouts done and do more in less time, which is actually one of the topics that we have coming up over the next few days and the beginning of next week, somewhere, something like that, then you actually have a lot more time than you realize. And it is very manageable and it is very doable, and you don't have to drive yourself insane. So I'm going to look for those numbers. Please put those numbers in, because this is actually really helpful for us to help people understand, hey, you don't have to spend this much amount of time. And I'd rather take real data from you guys saying, hey, we spent this much time doing all this stuff, than just like make up a number or go off of one person, which is me. Okay.
Yeah.
But I would say per day, when I was in the thick of it, I probably spent at least an hour. At least 1 hour, 20 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 15 minutes there, at least an hour a day. Okay.
Yeah. So that takes us to the next point. One of our mantras is you are what you eat. What you put in your body is what you get out. And that's why it's really important to take into consideration what you put in your body. If you've been taught what we've been taught before we actually found the right path and, got our shit together, is that there is a really strong emphasis on the working out part because it burns calories. Mm-hmm. And there isn't as great of an emphasis on nutrition. Now, I do believe that over the past decade, there has been more emphasis on nutrition. And now, of course, like nutrition is almost like a religion. Oh, like if you're not doing this diet, then you can't be my friend anymore, or we can't go out to eat anymore. Doesn't matter. That's not the point. Point is, you are what you eat. And it doesn't matter what your belief system is. What you put in is what you get out. So if you are what you eat, then please don't be fake, fast, or cheap.
Don't be easy.
Because what you put in is what you get out. So let's talk about this. Fake food.
Edible products.
Erin recently said there is real food and there is edible products. If you go to the grocery store, more than 90% of the things that you're going to see are not actual real foods. And that is no surprise why the health status and the weight status and the confidence status of society is the way that it is. 42% of Americans are morbidly obese. 70% of women are overweight. Why is that? Because if you go to the grocery store, or unless you are really highly educated with what decisions to make, you are going to eventually consume what is being put in front of you. As soon as, we drive our car out, one of the first billboards that we see is Hungry Howie's, and it's like a mac and cheese pizza.
Really?
Yes. Remember the other day when we were driving down from Tennessee, you're like, Hungry Howie's, what is that? And I immediately thought about that advertisement that I see all the time, like mac and cheese pizza. That's ridiculous. But I can see why they would sell it, because a lot of people would probably eat it. And, they're also bragging about how cheap it is. One of the things that I hear very often is healthy food is more expensive. And I just want to shed some light on here. No matter what, by the end of the day, you're going to pay. So the question is, what price are you willing to pay in the long run? Because if you're concerned with how can I buy the cheapest foods possible, and maybe your bill is going to be like $50 to $100 less, how much are you actually going to pay in the long run? Because of chronic disease. Because here's the thing about cheap food. Cheap food is not real food. It is fast food That's just the reality of it. It is a commodity. It is made in a lab.
It's an edible product. Your body doesn't naturally process. It messes with your hormones. Crazy.
It messes with your hormones.
It messes with your energy levels.
So it's going to lead to weight gain. It's going to lead to chronic disease. The top 10 killers in the United States are all chronic disease, and it's all based on lifestyle choices.
So this is important because it's easy. It's like also an instant gratification type of thing where, in the moment, it seems like it makes more sense, right? Understandable. Seems like it makes more sense. I'm going to pay, $5 less per pound, whatever, for this, not as good version of something, or a manufactured version of something versus paying a little bit more. At some point in time, it will make you sick enough that you'll just pay for it later. It's kind of like taxes, right? Like if you own your own business and you're responsible for you don't just fill out like the a W-4 and then, or what's the form you fill out when you're an employee? It's been a really long time. And then you give it to your employer and it says how much taxes you want taken out of each paycheck. And then, throughout the year that you get a return. When you own a business, like you're just responsible for all the taxes. And at the end of the year, you can choose to pay them quarterly, and be proactive. Or you can pay them all later, but it's like no matter what, you will pay for it. So you can pay for it incrementally as you go, which usually feels a little bit better, or you can just pay a lump sum all the way at the end, which is going to feel like a dagger to your heart. So
I see what you're saying. And even if you do not own a business, you pay your taxes anyways.
Right. So, and this is also, I think that, on a very serious note, I think that we need to change the mantra because, if you are what you eat, it is possible to eat healthy and also be delicious. You know what I mean? She laughed at that one, you guys. I feel like my new goal is going to be okay, I got to tell a joke at some point where Sari actually stops talking because it was funny enough for her to laugh at it.
So
here she goes. Continue on. Nothing happened.
I just had that. and then I caught myself. I'm going to do a better job at that.
No, you don't need to laugh at me. I'll laugh at myself. No problem.
So if you're concerned with buying cheap food, you're going to get cheap results. That's just the reality of it. So if anything, do what you can to increase your financial standards, just like you are with your health standards. And then, by the way, if you know that you want to increase your financial standards, go ahead and drop standards in the chat. And we went over cheap,
fake, easy.
Okay, so then let's talk about fast food. This is in the context of not you creating life hacks, because Erin and I, one of the things that we're notorious for is we create life hacks to make the creation of food really, really fast, because we're on the go a lot. And, unless it's friends are coming over for a Shabbat meal or something like that, we want it to happen as fast as possible. I want to be able to make a salad in 2 minutes.
But it isn't the preparation isn't. So there's an important difference. There's an important difference between easy and simple. Those are not the same thing. Easy and simple. Simple is simple, which can also be easy, but easy, just happens without any effort, is different. Okay. Mm-hmm. So then there's also a difference between fast food and meal prepping efficiently. Mm-hmm. Fast, right?
Yeah.
So fast food meaning no effort. Again, no effort, right? I go through the drive-through, I say what I want, I go through the thing. 1 minute later, I have some fake food. That is different than learning how to be efficient so that your meal prep is fast.
Yeah. Preparation for the sake of having quickly available food is a completely different conversation than fast food. It was created fast, and there is no nutritional value in fast food. And that's why if you are what you eat, you want to really put a stake on the ground and make sure that the food that you're eating is not fast, cheap, or fake. Because what it's going to create in the process is chronic disease and weight gain. And we cannot get away from it. That's just the reality of it. By the way, neither can your kids. They can for a while. Childhood obesity and childhood diabetes is becoming a thing. Why is that? Because parents are feeding shit to their kids. So by the time that they're 16, 17, 18 years old, they're now extremely overweight and their hormones are completely shot. So, I believe that taking care of yourself and really understanding these concepts is not just something that's going to change yourself, it's going to change everything around you. And do yourself a favor, please do not try to change anybody else before you completely transform yourself, because it will be a disaster. And people also learn based on who you be, not what you tell them to be. Okay, so that leads us to the next point. And when it comes to food in general, and of course, we can literally talk about nutrition for days and days on end. But if I can share with you this quick tip, is that whenever you go to the grocery store and, let's say you see a box or a bag or whatever it is that you're getting, whatever you normally see in the front is vanity.
It's the best foot forward.
It's vanity. It's the 30% less calories. It is heart healthy. It is
lowers cholesterol.
Yeah, it is
organic,
50% less sodium. All these things that are going to attract your eye, or 100 calories per serving. Now,
you guys ever go through the store and you just look at a product and you're like, that marketing, that looks healthy. So okay, hold on. I did this the other day.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's crazy. Why did I think that? What made me think that? And I start, I'm a deep thinker. So I start asking why. And I go down a rabbit hole. So I was looking on Instacart. By the way, if you don't know what Instacart is, y'all should. And I can drop a link here. But I was looking at conditioners. And I'm like, I want a good quality conditioner, right? So I'm looking and I'm like, this one looks like it'd be healthy. Why? Why does one look from the packaging on the outside? But here's the reality, is that there are people that study behaviors of other people who are purchasing their products or other similar products, and they figure out what is going to make somebody buy this. And if the first thing that I can do is look at it and see it and have a visual of it, that's how I'm going to purchase. Unless I heard something about it or got feedback from somebody else that I know that use it, or there was some commercial or doctor that talked about it, whatever. If I'm just looking at the shelf, just be aware. Like Sarit's saying, the front of the package or the packaging that is made to get you to want to buy it. Mm-hmm. So, and just so you know, the FDA will say whatever they need to say to get you to buy something, especially if it will make you addicted and come back and buy more.
Because you know who the FDA gets paid by? Big food, big pharma, and big soda.
Give me that money.
Okay, so give me that money. It's super important to understand how this game works, because otherwise you're going to fall to this trap. So the front is vanity and the back is sanity. So normally on the back, I also want to talk about the ethics of, we just talked about the ethics of what you put on your skin. I want to talk about the ethics of what we wear, because that's something that blew my mind a couple of months ago when I learned about that too.
That'd be a side note.
Yeah. So when you look at the back of the bag that you're getting or the box that you're getting, let's take Cheerios, for example. I actually did not grow up with Cheerios. I grew up with a cereal that's way better, that I feel sorry for anyone who never tried it. It's called Kariot in Hebrew, which stands for pillows. And it's basically this incredibly gooey cereal where in the middle it's like Nutella.
I have something really important to say in the middle of this. I'm putting a link to Instacart, or I'm going to put the website in here. And I also just saw that there's a code here that you could get $50. I don't know what that means, but like $50 of free groceries is awesome. So anyways, proceed.
Yeah, beautiful. So what, even as not being a Cheerios consumer, like one of the things that Cheerios like advertises really well is how it's heart healthy. Meanwhile, when you look at the back labels and you take a look at how many ingredients actually went into Cheerios, I actually want to take a look right now. I want to take a look right now. So Cheerios.
Did you notice that that bag of cereal is not there anymore?
No, because I don't look at that bag of cereal.
Yeah, I didn't want to look at it anymore. So you know where it went?
Okay, so let's...
Don't tell your mom.
So let's look at the ingredients. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 ingredients, and literally most of them are garbage.
Garbage.
Like ingredient number 2 is sugar. Ingredient number 3 is cornstarch. Ingredient number 5 is brown sugar syrup.
None of which are real food.
So meanwhile,
and brown sugar syrup is not brown sugar.
Meanwhile, it's claimed on the front it claims to be heart healthy. So hold on, that's just one thing that you'll
corn
see
syrup is also not a food.
In the back, you can also see how many grams of sugar are per serving. So a serving looks like is...
Hold on. So usually people only look at like what's the grams of sugar, and especially on drinks. Okay, so here is like a huge thing. All of these juices, like green juices, protein drinks that you'll find like at the grocery store in the refrigerated section that are individually served. You know, it's like, I want to buy this. What's that one brand called? It's going to come to me, or it's going to come to you.
Oh, I know. Oh my gosh.
Why can't I think
they
about
make
it?
The green machine naked.
Green machine naked. Okay, especially this is just an example, but I'm going to throw naked, that brand, under the bus right now, with no mercy. They say
look
what they say it's healthy, right? It makes it look healthy. It's a green juice. It's vegetables. It's protein. It's you know, it's healthy. Meanwhile, they will add sugar to it, and not even like raw, organic, like sugar is not even good for you, but there's like a million versions of sugar that are absolute chemical, like toxic, and that's what they put in it. Okay, so let's look at this. Ingredients. She has it up on her phone right now. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so serving size. Okay, so if you get like a bottle, I don't know, like the small single servings, they'll say like, oh, you know, X number of grams of sugar, whatever, and it has added sugar. How much is added sugar?
So this is for 8 fluid ounces. 8 fluid ounces is probably...
Okay, but hold on. So just go...
Added sugar. So there's 28 grams of sugar.
Okay, 28...
In 8 ounces.
Okay, and what is the first ingredient? By the way, the ingredients are
apple juice from concentrate.
Hold on. The ingredients are ordered from the most amount to the least amount. Okay. So the first ingredient is what has the most of it.
Apple juice from concentrate.
It's not apple juice.
Yeah. No. And it says it's made out of water and apple juice concentrate.
Yeah. So there's 28 grams of sugar. Now, how many ounces is one of those bottles?
Probably 16 to 24.
I think 16. It's not 8 ounces, but do you notice she said a serving size is 8 ounces? So when someone looks at that bottle, they're like, oh, yeah, okay, so 28 grams of sugar, which isn't good already to start with. But a lot of people miss that you're actually intaking 2 servings, which means it was it 28 or 24?
28. So that's
30
56 grams of sugar.
56 grams of sugar in this little bottle.
So going back to Cheerios real quick,
How is it
so we
healthy?
can stay in our lane. A serving size of Cheerios is 3/4 of a cup. And let's be honest, if you fill up a bowl of Cheerios,
Who
it's
eats-
probably 3 servings.
Who besides a 2-year-old eats more?
Each
Eats less.
serving has 9 grams of sugar. So that's like 27 grams of sugar. So like, you know, if a teaspoon is 4 grams, that's like 8 teaspoons of you just literally putting like straight up sugar. So these are things to consider about that nobody really teaches you. And it's really, really important. So of course, what you put in is what you get out. And if you want to reduce your likelihood of developing chronic disease, if you know that you want to have a higher quality of life, if you know that you want to live a longer, healthier life, then you got to make your nutrition a priority. And like we said, every single day when we come on live, by the way, I remember I talked about fabrics that we put on our body. We're going to leave that for another day so that we can stay on track with time.
It's fabrics, it's utensils, it's containers, it's everything.
Yeah. So these are things that, you know, you definitely want to take into consideration. And what you hear us talk about, that's just you consuming information, and that's great. Now, what matters is what you're going to apply after these videos. So today, to help you implement what we talked about, what you want to do is you want to go to the Facebook group and you want to make sure that you show us what you're eating today, and make it a point that number 1, you're avoiding any fast food, and 2, show us that your food has vegetables included in them. Because that is the most basic thing that I can tell you. Everybody wants to go like immediately to the top, but I'm like, if you're unable to do these 2 things simply for 365 days, I don't know what to tell you.
I had so many things come to my mind. I don't want to like overflow or flood you with different stuff. There's so many things that we utilize. And one of the things, you know, in our weekly recaps or like our weekly updates that we're going to be giving you are also just these different tricks and tips and tools and resources and things that we use, products we use, services we use, all the things that we use and we do. Now, don't think, oh my God, I got to be perfect and I have to make sure that this cup doesn't have any toxins in it. And that's, guess what? You're going to breathe it. It is in the air. It is not completely avoidable. All right. So if you use a Clorox wipe and you're like, whatever, here's the deal. There are ways that you can be, you know, as healthy as you can. And there are also decisions that we get to make on how healthy do I choose to be. If I like the convenience of this Clorox thing and I know there's toxins in it, okay, I'm willing to do it, right? So I'm not trying to sit here and be like, you have to make sure that every single thing that you have is perfect. I'm not. There are certain things where I'm just like, it's worth it right now. Don't care. But overall, the goal is to give you awareness, give you the education so that you can make whatever decisions you want to make for yourself to create the health, the hormones, and I need an H word for body. What's an H word for a body?
Alignment.
Oh my God, no. I was like, oh, that's cool. Happy doesn't work. I need a body. Okay. Your health, your hormones, and your
alignment.
No, body, physical body. Your house.
Your house.
House. Your health, your hormones, and your house.
That.
To be, I don't know what I was saying. Anyways, feel good.
So what you're going to do today is you'll want to go on the Facebook group, and remember, for all of these posts, you want to utilize the hashtag #ESArmyStrong. Melissa Morgenthaler, I'm going to give you a shout out because you do a great job at following instructions. And we are for sure going to comment on your posts that are related to these things that say ES Army Strong, because our intention is to see how are you implementing what we're teaching you. That's the only way for us to get feedback, to know that what we are putting out is valuable to you guys. And that's what will make us want to keep doing it. So if you want to see more of this, if you're finding value in this, then all that we ask in return is go apply to your life and share it, and share it on the Facebook group. Show us how are you implementing this. So today, what you're going to do is you want to make sure that you're avoiding fast food, fast, cheap, fake. Okay, you're going to avoid it and show us that you're having vegetables in your food as well. Okay, hashtag ES Army Strong. Yep. And that being said, we will see you tomorrow, Thursday.
One more thing. I made a post in the Facebook group. I want to share this with you guys because there's this new favorite thing that I have, and I drink it every day, and it's a greens juice, and it's literally brand new.
Me too. I've been drinking it every day too.
Hold on, ma'am. The company sent it to us to product test before they launched it. I went onto the website. I just saw that they launched it, and I think it's like you get 4 containers and you save like $130. So for anybody that wants to just like go all in and dive in head first because you trust us, awesome. I love it. I think it's amazing. Just want to present the opportunity because I'm not sure how long they're going to have that before they are selling them singles. And so, and I also don't know what the price is going to be of them as singles. It might be like $90 or something. So you can go and like get them. And there's a Facebook post that I made. So if you care, go find the Facebook post. It's in there. There's like a green, it's called Boost. And I love it. And I'm actually going to go have some right after this. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Have a great day.
We'll see you tomorrow.